Is it visible?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to begin my presentation with a question that when we imagine the Scarlet letter A or the character of Hester-Prynne, what comes immediately to our mind? That is it crime? Is it sin? Or Hester-Prynne has committed a sin or is guilty of the sin? Or was it her choice or her non-conformity to submit herself to the standards set by society? So here my presentation deals with her boldness and her emergence as a novel character in today's time. And I would like to quote Sartre for the reference that hell is the other people. So the title of my presentation is Hester-Prynne-ism, rereading as rebellious emergence of Hester from gendered territory. The novel, Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter has aroused a great deal of discussion, and among which there was a duplicate figuration of Hester-Prynne. That was Hester-Prynne-ism. So my presentation will deal with how, where, and when this term has been applied and what this term actually means. And then the presentation will try to question the practice of Hester-Prynne-ism if it is negative, and to reread so as to reread the very term Hester-Prynne-ism in the light of repelling spirit. In the introduction section, I would like to mention that that the novel begins with Hester-Prynne's guilty of a sin. So it wasn't Hawthorne's intention to start with this sin, but he consciously made the sin as the guilty of adultery, and to describe the adultery, not the adultery, but the consequences of the adultery. That why this particular novel deals with the crime, the sin, and punishment. Whenever I mean these three words, I mean to say that Hawthorne hasn't highlighted these words, but it's the interpretation of the novel that has led to the discussion this discussion that why patriarchal society has constructed this highlighting the sin and not the consequences, and not the rebelling spirit of Hester by non-conforming to the standards set by the society. Nobody is perfect. So this presentation is also throws light on the nobody is earthly perfect thing. And guilt, the guilt of Hester-Prynne, was it forced by puritanical society, or was it her own idea? So the Scarlet Letter is often taught as a novel which is based on Hester-Prynne's punishment. So was it her punishment, or was she had set herself aside from the standards of society, and when the adultery is committed, it was associated with women and not the man, that is Arthur Dimmesdale. Both are equally it was both of their choice, and have equally shared the thing, but this thing is looked at upon as an adultery and not as a thing which regularly people do. This kind of moral message is given to society so that society behaves in a particular way and not according to their own wish or their own independent choice. So this also develops the social conditioning of society. Furthermore, the research objectives are, I would like to quote Simone de Beauvoir. I quote, "He is a subject, he is absolute, and she is the other." Now, I unquote. So this presentation also deals with how to read Hester-Prynne's character as absolute as a subject and not as a other. Here, I will deal with the society as other. To observe the journey of Hester-Prynne and her tag A. Her tag was given by her society and not was her own choice. Then she is habituated with that choice, and she emerges herself as a rebellious character in the novel. To raise voice against the common discourse that any female identity, if she is raising her voice against the social crime, where she is considered as a bad fallen woman, same as Eve was considered in some of the narratives as a bad fallen woman. Why? Because the female identity questions. Does that mean they are the bad fallen women? And to reject, the study also focuses on how to reject the common discourse of Hester-Prynne-ism and how to relook at Hester-Prynne-ism from different perspective, from the very contrasting perspective. The questions are, what is the term and why the term recurrently is coming up in literature, and not only in literature but in media, popular business, ethical studies in negative manner, and how the term can be viewed from an intensely contrasting perspective. The methodology is used, the gender device of the language is used. It also helps us to understand the gender politics of society. The tag of Hester, the symbolic scarlet letter A, is connected with the life of a woman, and the major focus of the women novel is a woman. So gender politics. Why gender politics? Because it gives an entertainment to the society, and that entertainment is very much suffering to an individual. So it is this gender politics is like gender language, which is operated in society in contemporary area or in Puritanism, is like an entertainment for society, but not for an individual. The Scarlet Letter, yes, of course. Hawthorne wanted to title his novel first as Judgment Letter, because the Scarlet Letter A symbolizes is a development, is like a character who is developing. Like first, it is first society is viewing Hester, who has committed sin, which is an evil sin. Then Hester has alone make herself alone and is alienated from the society, and then when she is able to make herself, her existence, a remarkable one, then society is tagging Hester as an admirable angel. Now an admirable angel is also a problematic thing, because today's society is viewing Hester as a positive, from the positive context. Tomorrow it will be from the negative context as well, as earlier it was. Now, Hester-Prynne-ism. What is Hester-Prynne-ism? Hester-Prynne-ism is a kind of pointing out a woman from a certain criteria and looking at herself like as if she had committed some what we say as if she has murdered anyone. So Hester-Prynne-ism is a continuous and relentlessly functioning cultural dichotomy of a good woman versus a bad woman, and that too bad but desirable woman who needs instruction or punishment. And Hester-Prynne-ism is profoundly a negative construction of female identity. Now, how is Hester-Prynne-ism looked at from the society's point of view? Many discourses have aroused many discussion that Hester-Prynne-ism started from Hester-Prynne's character and from the letter A on her chest, but because she has committed adultery, which according to society's point of view is a negative thing. Because they don't think on an individual point of view, they just impose their rules on a particular group of people, where the group of people are expected to follow certain rules which are made by men of a particular culture. And so Hester-Prynne-ism serves as a warning or a radical model of what happens to women who do not conform to their social conditioning. So here are the quotes, how society is looking at the Hester-Prynne. Here are some of the examples. You can view it later on also from various cultures. Hester-Prynne-ism is punishing of people. Now it mainly deals with women, not a man. And particularly Nathaniel Hawthorne has also represented Hester-Prynne as a white American woman, which can be viewed from this quote by Hawthorne. And rereading women as a method, always rereading of women is always begin with a myth imposed by on other myth. And this Wendy Martin's recontextualization of women we can see the representation of Eve as a fallen woman, and all American fiction narrative heroines as a fallen woman, whether it's Doll's House by Henry Gibson, the protagonist, or whether it's this Hester-Prynne. So yes, rereading male as self, it is obviously believed by society. Male is a self and women as the other. So how this othering of female gender is happening, and by putting into center the character of Hester-Prynne, how she is being constantly nudged over by the society. If Hester-Prynne-ism, if this is Hester-Prynne-ism as the novel has this discussion, then why is it not coming out? Why it is suppressed in a closed books, and not why it is not coming out? Then why punishment in terms of why people are punishing other female identities just for raising their own voice? Isn't it the responsibility of society or everyone to to raise a question on this discourse, or should we? And yes, the main question of this presentation is: should we change the concept of Hester-Prynne-ism, or should we remove it completely? Because as such, it is not going to be removed, because this is so normalized among the society that society unconsciously performs this Hester-Prynne-ism without even knowing the concept of Hester-Prynne-ism. Yes, concluding Hester-Prynne's this presentation by emerging Hester-Prynne as a rebel. She is a rebellious character who non-conformated with the social standards. She is a free thinker. She is a re-imaginative. She is powerfully transgressing her own identity. And Hester-Prynne-ism, should we view it like this women as a fallen woman, or should we improve this way of this concept by way of looking at Prince's character as as a rebellious character who has gained her own existence in the society and has embraced the consequences of her choice. As the existentialist points out that the human being who make a choice has to face the consequences, has to embrace the consequences. So in this light, Hester-Prynne's character also embraces the consequences and fights against the societal norms which are actually leading oneself towards alienation. And the negative practice or concept of looking at women was developed. Yes, was this concept developed after Hawthorne's text, or was it already there? But after the Hawthorne has written this text, the people had given the name to this concept or to this practice. Actually, why the discourse of language is not changing? Yes, when we see the gender politics in language, why this discourse is not changing? Why it is not said that this human being has is accused of rapist, and why it is always seen as she was raped by people, by a group of people? So why is this gender politics in language is working? Still it is working, and even in today's times, this concept is not vanished as such. So why is that so? Here are the works cited. Thank you, and I'm ready for the questions. Sir, your mic is muted.
Yeah, it was good, good, but it was a bit longer. So try to shorten it so you can avoid repetition of a couple of things from your slide. So that can shorten the time also. Otherwise, it was well prepared with proper citations also. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, questions, if there are any, then put in the chat. Questions you put in the chat today.